As the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
So Caitlin Clark played golf during the week, and obviously it was a big deal. Surprisingly enough, almost bigger deal than Unrivaled.
Everyone believes Caitlin Clark is the golden ticket, the once-in-a-generation superstar destined to elevate the WNBA to new heights. Her name alone moves tickets, breaks viewership records, and draws global attention. But what if that story isn't as simple as it seems? Beneath the surface of her meteoric rise lies a quiet, growing tension, one where other leagues aren't just benefiting from her fame but might actually be outmaneuvering the WNBA in real time. The narrative surrounding Clark's arrival isn't just about a player, it's about a power struggle for cultural dominance in women's sports. And shockingly, the WNBA might be losing control of the story it created. Because when you start connecting the dots, from the timing of her golf appearances to the media's shifting focus, a chilling question emerges: is the LPGA subtly hijacking Caitlin Clark's spotlight, or is the WNBA simply dropping the ball on its biggest opportunity ever? What follows isn't speculation, it's a deep dive into the unseen moves, silent rivalries, and calculated optics shaping the future of women's sports.
I talked about it in a previous video how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
Little did anyone realize, a seemingly innocent golf appearance by Caitlin Clark would spark a full-blown media storm, one that rippled far beyond the LPGA. When Clark stepped onto that course, the LPGA didn't just acknowledge her presence, they executed a marketing ambush with surgical precision. Their social media posts exploded with over 7 million impressions, numbers that dwarfed their usual engagement. But it wasn't just the scale that raised eyebrows, it was the tone. Every caption, "Who doesn't love Caitlin Clark?" felt less like admiration and more like a calculated play to capture her magic, redirect her momentum, and showcase what they could do with her star power. It was brilliant, almost predatory marketing. And in doing so, the LPGA inadvertently exposed a glaring contrast. While they seized Clark's moment and turned it into a viral triumph, the WNBA seemed strangely passive, hesitant to fully embrace the very athlete capable of redefining their league's future.
Caitlin Clark played some golf, and what we saw from Caitlin Clark playing golf was the LPGA being really happy about it.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the WNBA appeared to be stumbling at the very moment it should have been sprinting. As other leagues and major sports figures celebrated Caitlin Clark as the future of women's athletics, the WNBA, the one organization positioned to benefit most from her rise, seemed oddly silent. Instead of seizing the moment, it fumbled it. Reports began surfacing of tone-deaf promotions and baffling oversights, from mispronouncing Clark's name during official broadcasts to failing to roll out any major, unified marketing push around her arrival. The optics were brutal. At a time when Clark's influence was rewriting the narrative of women's sports, the WNBA's lack of urgency suggested either denial or disconnect. What should have been a coronation felt more like confusion, and that silence created a vacuum that rival leagues, especially the LPGA, rushed to fill with precision and intent.
Gotten to this stage now where it seems like they're just trolling the WNBA. Like, at this stage, I think they're just trolling the WNBA.
But to truly understand the weight of the WNBA's missteps, we have to first recognize just how monumental Caitlin Clark's presence really is, and why her appeal stretches far beyond basketball. Clark isn't just an elite athlete, she's a cultural force, a once-in-a-generation phenomenon whose performances draw massive audiences and whose authenticity connects across every demographic. She's not just a player, she's a movement, the kind of magnetic figure every league dreams of having. And that's precisely what made the LPGA's timing so brilliant, and so telling. Their posts and praise, while outwardly warm and celebratory, carried a subtle but undeniable edge, as if to remind the world what true cultural impact looks like. The message between the lines was clear: if a golf league could recognize and amplify Caitlin Clark's star power with such precision, why couldn't the WNBA? Was this a deliberate power play, a quiet flex to expose the league's lack of vision, or simply the byproduct of a system failing to grasp its own golden moment? Either way, the implications stretch far beyond one athlete. They point to a much larger question. In the battle for relevance, exposure, and cultural dominance, is the WNBA already losing control of the very spotlight Caitlin Clark created?
You see here, this is days later. Nothing but love for Caitlin Clark over here. Constantly saying, like, It's always, everything is like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? Like, all of these posts are like...
Everyone believed the WNBA was standing on the brink of a golden era, ready to break into the mainstream with the arrival of a generational talent like Caitlin Clark. But behind the headlines and highlight reels lies a far darker truth, a baffling series of strategic blunders that have left fans, analysts, and even rival leagues questioning the WNBA's direction. While the LPGA saw an opportunity and capitalized instantly, racking up over 34 million impressions from just a handful of posts about Clark, the WNBA, remarkably, stumbled. From misspelled names in official materials to a stunning lack of coordinated promotion, the league's handling of its biggest star feels less like growing pains and more like a failure to recognize history in real time. This isn't just about a rookie, it's about a league teetering on the edge of transformation, and perhaps missing its greatest chance to redefine the future of women's sports.
And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world. And her name is Nelly Korda.
The LPGA's embrace of Caitlin Clark wasn't just admiration, it was a strategic masterstroke. They understood exactly what she represented, the rare kind of athlete who transcends her sport and pulls entire audiences along with her. By aligning their brand with Clark's global momentum, even when she wasn't holding a golf club, the LPGA tapped into a vast new demographic that might never have looked their way. It wasn't competition, it was innovation. A calculated partnership rooted in cultural awareness, they saw the future of women's sports, one driven by crossover appeal, digital virality, and personality-driven storytelling, and they acted. Meanwhile, the WNBA, the very league destined to benefit most from Clark's rise, appeared cautious, almost resistant. While stars from Serena Williams to NFL greats publicly celebrated Clark's impact, her own league hesitated, as if unsure how to handle a figure too big for their current playbook. This wasn't just a missed marketing opportunity, it was a revealing moment that exposed deeper uncertainty within the WNBA's leadership about how to navigate a once-in-a-generation superstar who refuses to fit inside their existing mold. It all points to a deeper, systemic flaw within the league's identity. Unlike the NBA, which thrives on the elevation of individual superstars whose fame ultimately lifts the entire brand, the WNBA has long wrestled with how to balance its team-first culture against the undeniable power of singular icons. This tension has created confusion among fans and media alike. How can a league blessed with a once-in-a-generation talent like Caitlin Clark seem hesitant to fully embrace her? The debate has become increasingly polarized. Some insiders believe it's a cultural hesitation, a discomfort with celebrity-driven narratives that could disrupt the league's collective ethos. Others see it as structural, a symptom of limited marketing budgets, constrained partnerships, and fear of alienating veteran players who've long fought for respect. But regardless of the reasoning, the result is clear. What should have been the WNBA's golden opportunity to redefine its future has instead exposed its deepest weakness, an inability to evolve fast enough to meet the moment. The league watched as Caitlin Clark shattered collegiate records, drove unprecedented viewership, and packed arenas night after night, yet somehow seemed unprepared to fully capitalize on that once-in-a-lifetime momentum. That hesitation created a vacuum, and the LPGA wasted no time stepping into it. Their seemingly harmless posts, nothing but love for Caitlin Clark, and who doesn't love Caitlin Clark, might have looked like casual admiration on the surface, but within the context of the WNBA's silence, they hit differently. To many, they felt like a subtle flex, a calculated form of strategic trolling designed to spotlight the WNBA's inaction while boosting their own relevance. It was clever, deliberate, and undeniably effective. Because make no mistake, this wasn't just about showing love for an athlete. It was about framing a narrative that while other leagues saw Clark's value and moved decisively to celebrate her, the WNBA was still struggling to figure out how. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon had officially transcended basketball, and the league that birthed it was now being outplayed in the game of perception. It has become a powerful mirror reflecting how different leagues treat their stars, and, by extension, their own futures. While the LPGA continues to bask in the glow of Caitlin Clark's star power, the WNBA's muted response grows louder by the day, raising uncomfortable questions. Can the league pivot in time, or will Clark's meteoric rise continue to benefit everyone except the organization that needs her most? This dynamic exposes a deeper truth about the modern sports landscape. Visibility, branding, and emotional connection matter just as much as performance. History has shown us that transcendent athletes, Michael Jordan transforming the NBA into a global empire, Serena Williams turning tennis into a stage for cultural dominance, redefine the reach of their leagues. Caitlin Clark has that same rare spark. The difference isn't her talent, it's how the leagues around her choose to nurture, promote, and ultimately share in the spotlight she's creating. The LPGA, for instance, immediately recognized Caitlin Clark's drawing power and executed a deliberate, long-term strategy to align their brand with hers, a mutually beneficial partnership that expanded both audiences. In contrast, the WNBA's response has felt hesitant, even passive. Despite having a player capable of pulling millions of new eyes to the game, their marketing has often been reactive instead of visionary. This isn't a new flaw, it's a recurring one. For years, the WNBA has struggled to elevate incredible talents like Breanna Stewart or Aja Wilson to the level of mainstream global recognition their skill deserves. The league's inability to consistently build and sustain star-driven narratives has become its Achilles heel, leaving massive cultural and commercial opportunities untapped just when the spotlight burns brightest. It's not just the LPGA recognizing Caitlin Clark's value, it's athletes and leagues across the entire sports spectrum. From tennis to soccer, figures who understand star power have openly celebrated her. Tennis legend Caroline Wozniacki even joked about teaming up with Clark in doubles, not just for fun, but because she understood the magnetic pull Clark brings to any arena she enters. This isn't mere admiration, it's strategic awareness. Other leagues view Caitlin Clark as a gateway to new audiences, a living bridge between traditional sports fandom and a new generation of digital engagement. Meanwhile, the LPGA's execution has been a digital masterclass, transforming simple gestures into massive traction. Through carefully timed social media posts and consistent cross-platform visibility, they turned a few casual appearances into 34 million impressions. Every post felt intentional, framing Clark as a shared cultural icon rather than an outsider.